It all works out.
That's for sure. Well, is Carl there?
I am.
You are, Carl? Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why don't we start then? Okay. We're gonna go silent for a minute. Okay. Okay, why don't you go ahead? Oh, okay. I'll wait for you, Brian. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. We're going to start, and I said the first item on the agenda is you should have copies of the, I believe, the minutes, and I'd like to formally ask for approval of the March 2020 minutes. All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
Aye.
All right. All right. Are there any revisions to the agenda? Any additions or changes that you want to make?
None here.
Okay.
None here.
Okay.
None here.
Okay. Carl? None? All right.
Nothing for me.
Okay, so the agenda is okay as is. Okay. If I overspeak somebody, just let me know. The next item is our reports. Carl, it's been 3 months since we've had a meeting. Can you kind of bring us up to date on what's happening with the township and particularly what's happening with maybe some of the trail issues?
Yes, number one, and I'm not sure, Bert, if you reported this, but there was a tree that was downed on the north side of the Meridian Woods, the old trail that we have there. Cliff, I think you're aware of that?
Yeah, that's going to be fixed this week. I talked to Tom about that. So that's
okay,
being
very
taken
good.
care of.
While we're on that trail, go ahead.
Oh, I did note that when we were hiking, so.
Yeah.
So it's good that it's going to be taken care of.
I also asked them to take another look at some other trees that might be in danger of falling and take care of those as well.
Further, in walking back there, and I've been back there twice in the last 4 weeks, there has been a very, very heavy use of the trail. And that is, on the one hand, a good thing. On the other hand, it has been so wet and there's been so much traffic that the trail has seemingly expanded as people are trying to avoid the mud and are going off to either or both sides at various points to avoid mud and the bogs and things. So I have asked Dale to have Ohio not only look at the other trail, the Tittle Trail, but I would like him to come out and take a look at the trail that we have across from Meridian Elementary. And Dale indicated to me that CE Rains Company, Ohio Sabat Engineer, just brought their people back about 10 days ago. They have been out because of the governor's executive orders and COVID. And Dale has indicated that he will ask that they call in and talk to me. And then Cliff and Bert, I know you two are on. I would propose that I send an email to Cliff, see if anybody else is interested when we have an engineer take a walk back on both the Meridian Trail. And we're going to do the same thing with the Tittle Trail, the Tittle property that connects to the balance of the 49, almost 50 acres of open space back there. But nothing has been done because the governor's executive orders not deemed an essential activity, as well as the fact that it's just been so absolutely sloppy wet back on both trails. And looking forward to that, I have also spoken to a Boy Scout who called me and wanted to do a project where they would be cleaning up the washer, the tires, the boat motor on the very east side of the Meridian Woods Trail. And now that we're getting a little bit drier weather, there is some hope that we might be able to start organizing that for later this month. And I've had several adults come and approach me and say, hey, I'd like to be part of that. Give me a call when you go out and do that stuff. So I have probably 4 or 5 adults right now that have volunteered, and I have every reason to believe that they will find some other people, particularly Bill Stevenson, who has an ability to really contact, reach out, and get people involved. So I am hoping, weather permitted, we can start doing something at the end of the month, and certainly if the governor's orders remain as they are right now, she's relaxing so many things, we should be able to get out and do some of that removal and debris. I have been advised by someone who has spent a number of years walking on the east side that fortunately that is not new debris, but there was a building back there at one time, and they were very familiar with the area. That was part and parcel of a, basically called it a farm. So we do not have any of the new litter going on back there. It seems to be that this is just old debris that was a result of buildings that were torn down years and years ago. So fingers crossed that the good times keep rolling with people taking care of their own litter. And the trail was very, very limited amount of litter back there. And it seems to be that it's working. People are getting the idea that this is it might not be their living room, but it's their backyard. And Dale has promised me that when we get started with Sohio, Sohio will let us know, and I will let everybody else know.
Oh, that's great. That's great. There's a lot of trail work that needs to be done both on the Meridian Trail in terms of a new trail that we've talked about and finishing up as quickly as practical the Tittle Trail.
Well, and there is some good news with that in that Mr. Stevenson and I and a third person went out and walked and looked around to where we could make an access that would avoid some of the vernal wetlands that are out there and some of the really deep water that seems to be a problem in particularly the early spring and late winter. But when a trail was suggested, we had some limited amount of paint on the floor of the area, as well as some ribbons on the trees. There were people that just moved over here from Southgate in the fall, and I got a phone call. They contacted Julie Cordes. Julie Cordes called me, and they said, can we meet you because we have some concerns about the trail? And that was based upon, they walked me back there, and it was really cool to see where they have owls that are nesting back there. And I believe they thought that they were great horned owls. So we have to move that trail because we don't want to disturb something like that. It was just really neat.
Yeah. Well, I think what we have to do is we have to actually redraw I think what you're looking at is another trail from the existing trail out to Meridian, and connecting in somehow, some way, with the trail at the north end of the property. Am I correct?
Eventually, I could see something like that maybe happening, but right now we have a lot of work to do on our existing trail, as well as the cleanup from the trail on the east side. And that is going to be a longer-term project, I would expect. But getting the trail up to grade and up to par where we're not damaging. I hate to use the term damage, but a lot of foot traffic does do damage there. And getting it out of the water, I think, would be a big thing right now. And we have money for that. And I was also approached by a citizen that lives near Dallas Drive and Little Meridian, I think, or Little Parkway is what it's called. It's a road that parallels Grosse Parkway about a half a block south of Parkway between Sunnybrook and Meridian, about trying to look at a path going between essentially Dallas Drive that would connect over to the Playscape, which is kind of interesting, and it looks like the ground there is fairly higher, but they were asking about some consideration for that. I think that's down on our list of potential things we might want to talk about in the future. But right now, I think taking care of the Tittle and the Meridian Woods is certainly one of our very big issues. That trail's taken a lot of beating this year.
Well, I think we should make sure. I think Tom from TNT is getting to the point where he's getting ready to start working on trails again. And I think maybe what we should do is start getting him to start repairing. Maybe, I think first thing we should do is, as you said, Carl, let's get the Tittle Trail wrapped up first. I think
I think that would be very important, and having Ohio come out there so that we're not doing it a second time or even a third time is very, very important.
When do you think we can get Ohio out there?
I asked Dale about that, and that's when he indicated to me that Ohio had just reopened, brought his people back within the last 10 days. So okay. I would think if we don't hear from him by the end of the week, it would be appropriate to contact Ohio. I know Ohio. He's every bit a gentleman and was as good as Charlie Raines was about responding. So if we don't hear something by the end of the week, I'd propose calling him next week.
Yeah, Ohio's a good guy. I mean, I'm sure if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Bert, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't. I'm just, well, actually, I can just say that the Jack in the Pulpit plants that I rescued from the Ferry Trail, the new Ferry Trail property, the Tittle property, are thriving in my garden, and I'm looking forward to transplanting them probably in the fall.
Okay.
So,
okay. Kyle, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, sir, except on a personal note, I want to thank as many people that came out for our third phase of the COVID testing. We had 112 the first time with first responders. We had 1,502 on May 9th, which was the second round. And then we did a third round last Thursday, and we do not have all the numbers back or the testing, but I expect to have that by the end of the week with results. But I just want to thank everybody for coming out again. That was just a long day, but very, very satisfying to see so many people come out. And I just want to say thank you, Cliff, for putting the word out on that as well.
Okay, thank you. Bert, is there any update with the Nature and Land Conservancy?
Sure. So, of course, all of our outside and public gathering events have been canceled or postponed for the near future. We're looking at doing some virtual educational programs as well as talking about when we're going to be resuming our activities. But we did complete the high school photo contest with 10 awards given, and those will be showing up in our newsletter in the summer. And then we also awarded 2 scholarships to Grosse High School students who wrote very impressive essays about their commitment to the environment and their activities, and one went to Open Space's own Emma Kronell, and the other one to Sullivan Cohen. So tomorrow we're going to be doing going to be doing kind of a social distancing presentation of the certificates and the awards. So congratulations to Emma. Good job.
Congratulations, Emma.
Okay. Yes, Emma. Thank you. Is Pam Frucci there? She isn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Pam is not there. Okay. And as far as the recreation department, is Kyle in the audience?
No, he's not. He sent an email out that he wouldn't be able to attend.
Okay. All right. So we'll just bypass him. All right. The GROSSE school systems. We have two Emmas with us today. So you two decide. Maybe together, give us an update of what's happening with the open space program as it relates to the schools, and if there's anything we need to help you with.
So we left off in March trying to get recycling bins at Meridian and Park Lane, but everything was put to a halt, obviously. So we were planning on resuming that in the fall. Other than that, we're looking at bringing up a new liaison to work with me since Emma is graduating, and that's about all that we've been working on.
Yep, and I'd like to add that this is going to be my last meeting because I'm going to be moving on to college, obviously, but I want to thank you guys for this experience, and it was great to meet you all, and I really like to be a part of this.
Well,
thank you.
It was good having you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck, Emma.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Right.
Good luck.
Emma Griffith?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Anything you want to say?
Oh, just good luck to Emma in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes,
Thank
Emma Griffith, we're looking forward to actually meeting with you in person when things resume, and your co-liaison, whoever that person is.
Yeah.
Probably someone will have to learn a new name. So
Yeah,
thank you both.
I just hope that we're able to meet in person. Normally we don't have a meeting in July, but I think this year, because we have so many things going on, and it's been such a long time since we've had a face-to-face meeting, I think if we can, we should have a meeting in July.
Yeah, we can probably handle that.
Okay. Is Dan?
Yep.
Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What's happening at BPAC?
Well, we've got a couple things going on. We're looking at connecting Grow Road to the wildlife. We're looking at possibly moving some fences and use that access road from the airport. We're also looking to evaluate or look into the Bellevue and connecting to Grosse Ile Parkway. We talked a couple weeks ago about possibly cutting through Water's Edge or going along West River Road.
Mm-hmm.
So those are a couple things that we're really digging into. Carl, you got anything to add about that I haven't heard?
Well, I talked to Dale Ream there, and he has confirmed that the airport has the space in the property to allow us to remove a fence. It's hoped that we can keep a lot of the vegetation there as a natural screen, keep it more scenic, but that it does seem that the airport manager, Mike Duker, indicates that there's room and that there's no issues with the FAA regarding an apron or a minimal amount of space between the runways and the paths. So that looks really good, and I know that there was some issue before as to just simply going ahead and finding the money to do that. When I first came on board the township board almost 4 years ago, we were looking at a grant that would take us from the Gibraltar Bay unit down across from Hoover's up to Grow Road, and with a paved path there, that grant would have been about $100,000. So if we can find some grant money out there, that would be good. I also looked into the use of some of the millings from the West River Road reconstruction, where the water lines were replaced and brought up to grade. A lot of the millings resulted from the grinding of the asphalt. I spoke with the director of the Gibraltar Bay Wildlife and Dingle Center, and he did some research and got back to me in about 2 days and said that while that is a good idea, you have to be very careful about using it and where you place it. If it is too close to a water course like the ditch that runs alongside of East River and the airport, there will be chemicals that will leach out of that and down into the ditch. The ditch then travels to Gibraltar Bay and then out to Lake Erie. So while that may work at other parts of the interior of the airport, like the soccer fields, where they do not have close proximity to water courses, he does not recommend that. So we may very well wind up with using a gravel pathway and trying to keep that maintained. If anybody has been to Acadia National Park, a park that was originally purchased by John Rockefeller Jr., that they used carriage paths, and the carriage paths have now been transformed into bicycle paths with the use of stone and then gravel and then a pea gravel on top of that. And they're very effective, and it's much less expensive than the asphalt that we have looked at. So, but the airport manager seems to be okay with it. We would certainly need to talk to the airport commission and get them to understand, but the big stumbling block right now is like everything else, money. We have to find money to do something, but there was some interest expressed by Dale that we might be able to use volunteers and even some employees of the airport to be able, in the DPS, to be able to come out and help move that fence. And seemed like it'd be pretty easy to do, but we just need the money for the surface.
Okay. Dan, is there anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Is John online? John Meyer?
I am, but I have no report.
Okay, and I can understand why you haven't been. There's nobody been at the township, but both you and your wife are healthy, I hope.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, that's great. Okay, John, I'll talk to you after the meeting, maybe tomorrow, about maybe if we can make some notes about tonight's meeting.
Yes, good.
If that's possible.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Now, inasmuch as there's no public there, we'll skip the public comments. Dan, back to you again.
Hold it, Cliff.
Yes.
We have Bill Stevenson here.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Hi, Brian. Hang on, I'm working between two different machines here, so I'm getting feedback from the other one. Hang on, just 1 minute.
Okay, Dan, is there anything else?
That's it. It's Bill.
Is John online? John Meyer?
That's a rerun.
All right, I'm back.
Did Cliff go down the stairwell or something? I can hardly hear.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's good.
Let's try that. Is that better?
Yeah.
There we go. I said I had two different machines going here.
Okay, Bill, are you on?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And Do you have any comments?
Other than I joined the meeting a little late, and I heard part of Carl's commentary. But again, we're working with our neighbors and we're working with the community and trying to to obviously resolve some of the issues that we brought forth, and so we're willing to do that.
Okay.
I don't know if Pam and I kind of collaborated on an article in the GROSSE Grand, and I don't know if everybody got a chance to see that or not. But
yes, I did.
Yes, we did. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, we did. Yeah, that was a nice article. I think that you and Carl and is Theresa online, or she didn't join us tonight, did she?
Yes, she is.
No, I'm here.
There you go.
Oh, are you there, Theresa? Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you're there, because down at the action items, we want to talk about this the Meridian Trail more. But let's talk about the dump the junk thing. Dan, are we still planning to possibly have a dump the junk program this coming fall?
I was thinking that possibly August or September, but again, you got to realize the weight restriction on the pay bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think we might have to hold off to next year until I talk to somebody at the township offices and to talk to somebody at the toll bridge.
Yeah, I agree. I have no problem with holding off on the dump the junk program until next year, until the free bridge is repaired. Maybe we should make that decision now and hold off on it and do it next year.
Well, what's everybody think?
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't we wait till next month, and Dan, you look into the weight thing and just figure out like all the ramifications of it, because we're seeing junk around. And that's because
I agree with that.
Seem to
okay, yeah.
Somebody's got a slot machine going.
Yeah, okay. Why don't we, if we can have a regular meeting next month, we'll discuss in a little more detail. But I agree with
this. Let me go to the township once they reopen, and I'll stop and talk to the folks at the toll bridge.
Okay. All right.
That sounds good.
And I have. If it's too expensive to hold it this year because of the toll bridge fees and so on and so forth, maybe we should hold off for next year. But let's wait till next month before we make a final decision on it.
All right, I'm putting it on my to-do list.
Okay. All right. As far as that the signage, I skipped it. Ferry Trail work progress. Carl and Bert, I think we have talked about that, have we not? So I think we're pretty well set on what we're going to do with Ohio.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. All right. We'll just bypass that. As far as the signage is concerned, that's that sign that was damaged on Meridian Parkway, an open space sign. That sign is being constructed. Obviously, it was delayed because of the COVID, and I just talked to the people, I think last week, and they're getting back to work on it. So it'll be finished in the near future.
Okay.
How much is it going to cost, Cliff? Do you have any idea?
Pardon me?
Cliff, do you know what the cost on that will be?
I would say maybe around $1,500, something like that. They're not cheap, that's for sure.
Wow, yeah.
$1,600. Okay. The next item is the Meridian Trail update. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Theresa, do you have some comments on the on that Meridian Trail?
Yes. So my husband and I have been going through the trail, and I think Carl or someone mentioned pink ribbons out in the woods and that sort of thing. That's from us identifying on the map you gave me regarding the locations for debris and things that need to be removed, so we can categorize which ones would be able to be removed by volunteers, and which ones would need heavier equipment that we would need to employ a company in there. So that's probably, I would say, 60% done. So what it's going to be is I'm going to make a spreadsheet with the pictures of the debris, the location on the map in a numbered format, so that anyone can identify them and be able to go out and clean that stuff up. So that's basically what we've been working on there.
Okay, Theresa, I know that Tom from TNT has equipment that can get in there, and I think maybe assist in removing some of that heavier stuff. So
yeah, I agree. I think
once you, excuse me, go ahead.
I agree. That's the point of the map, so we can divvy out what goes to him, and I don't have a problem coordinating that if you need to. So.
Please, that would be fine, and that way we can get rid of that material, and hopefully by the next meeting we can. Do you think you can have that ready by the next meeting?
Yeah, I believe so. Okay.
If not, we can hold off until August. I mean, good grief, we've been about 4 months now since we've had any activity. It's been a trying period. But anyways, all I want to do, Theresa, is let you know that I think if Tom, I believe, has the equipment and the wherewithal to remove some of those items that you feel require special equipment.
Yeah.
One of the volunteers,
so one note. Sorry, go ahead,
Theresa.
So I was going to say one note to make in case anyone has questions or comments. The pink ribbons and yellow ribbons out there. If anyone has questions, that's what that's about. Those are identifying those points of pickup points, I guess you'd call them. And so as you walk along the trail, we tie them around trees or what have you. So if someone says, hey, are you cutting down trees or do anything like that? No, those are just identifier flags. So when you walk in the main trail, you know that that's a spot on the map to walk down to wherever the location is on the map relative to the road or the outskirts of the woods, so you can get your placement and be able to locate the garbage right away. So
okay, Theresa,
and I think someone mentioned.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to suggest...
I think someone mentioned the age of the garbage, and we're also seeing in the Meridian woods that a lot of that is old debris, and so I guess that's a good thing. But there are some stuff that I think the most interesting thing that I think people don't realize is actually debris is when they take and they just throw their bushes out there. Property owner will toss their bushes out there and they have the wire basket around them and things like that. That's, they think that's going to rot, but it really doesn't. So maybe a little bit of education as well. But other than that, it was not too bad in terms of modern garbage anyway.
Okay.
So that's all for me.
Have you, Theresa, have you by chance notified the GROSSE Police Department that those ribbons are out there for identifying the garbage?
No, I haven't. Would you like me to?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. And that way, at least if they know about it, somebody calls them and they said, well, it's the Open Space Committee's identifying garbage to be picked up or something to that effect. And if they know about it, I think they'll be able to help us, as well.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, you can call the chief of police, and I think you start with him, and then he can filter that down to his people.
Cliff, if I could add one thing.
Yes.
One of the volunteers that I have walked back there with Bill Stevenson several times has indicated he has access to some equipment that could help us take that out there, take some of the heavier stuff out, particularly the marine engine, and I think that what looks like to be part of a truck that's closer to the Manchester side, that we could perhaps lean on him to pull some of that stuff out and save some expense with TNT.
Okay. All right. Well, you and Theresa.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. I've been in contact. I've been in contact with Bill, and we are definitely going to, once the map is made, talk about it as a little group there and figure out what locally we can do before we use township expense.
Right.
So I think we're all on the same page.
Good.
Okay, great. Anything else, Theresa?
No, that's good.
Okay. I know Darryl is not on the line, is he? Darryl Flarski. I don't think so. He is. No, all right. Anyways, we have a similar situation at the end of Centennial Farm, and I'm going to have to get somebody. I guess I'm going to have to get somebody in there to go down that trail. Either we can get TNT or else some other private individual go down there and just clean up that mess. That's about halfway down that trail. All it is some debris and a couple of couches and so on and so forth.
Wasn't Kyle talking about getting the recreation department to get their front end loader down there?
I'm not sure. It's been maybe he was.
Yes, he was.
Go ahead.
That's what I recall. He was going to get somebody from the rec that they have a front end loader or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's in one of the earlier minutes.
Yes. I think it was either February or March.
All right. Okay, all right. That's probably when everything was shut down. All right, now who's going to contact the rec department? Kyle was?
Yes. He's part of the department.
Yeah, okay.
The committee.
All right. Let me check with, I'll check with Kyle then, and let's see if he can get the rec people down there to check with Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll give him a call and maybe light a fire under them. And now that things are beginning to open up, maybe they can get down there and clear that mess out. Okay, I'll take care of that.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. Okay, is there any other items that any of you want to bring up?
The only thing I can bring up is I got some wonderful pictures of the eagle on the golf course Saturday afternoon, and the nest. The mother was in the nest, and the male was on guard.
Nice.
Oh,
that's cool.
Okay. Anybody else?
So can you send me those pictures, and that'd be a nice story for the Roseville Nature and Land Conservancy newsletter.
Sure, I'll be glad
Thanks.
to.
Great.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Nope.
No? Okay, well, thank you.
Let's
you
get a
so much.
motion to adjourn the meeting, Cliff.
Yeah. All right, all those in
So
favor?
moved.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, well, thank you very much. And Brian, thank you for setting this up.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate it. And now that things are beginning to open up a little bit, I'll start pushing the township. Maybe we can have a meeting next month. And in the meantime, I'll take care of some of these things that I was supposed to take care of but didn't.
You guys can log in through the internet if you have a camera on your PC or your laptop.
I don't. That's my problem. I have what is called an old-fashioned computer. Okay.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Be safe.
And be
Thank
safe.
you.
Have
Be safe.
fun. And when the restaurants open up, I want each of you to take either your husband or your wife out for dinner.
Wow.
That's an order.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.